It brings me to this question. Do you think that media can do something to promote mental health? Because they're very close to the audience,
Oh, yeah,
even
absolutely.
compared to people's primary relationships. So, what's your take on it? Is there something that media can do to promote mental health, and if there's something that comes to your mind like an idea, people should start doing this or stop doing something.
Best way to attach yourself in terms of a direction of good mental health is to reduce your time on media, because that is the most immediate and the quickest thing that you can do. That way, media also doesn't get involved, and you have your sanity intact to a certain degree. Although it is a bad thing to say, as somebody who is a media practitioner, if I would like to use that term, or all of us consume media in some way,
Yes.
but it does affect our brain, our overall perception of reality, our relationship in certain ways. And yes, it is not a good thing nor a bad thing, but it does affect you. And that effect itself can turn out more often than not, to be negative, unfortunately.
Right.
So media can be utilized in a way that, well, first of all, they need to social media. And again, I'm let me be clear, at least from this point of view, we're talking about social media,
Yes.
because I know a lot of Gen Zers who know a lot of apps and how do they work, what is their algorithm like,
Hmm.
what is the best time to upload a certain picture that is going to get more engagement. All of those things work fabulously, but they don't know how to use Word doc and they don't know what a PowerPoint is, and or they don't know how to turn on and off what a printer is, and that is a little bit scary,
Concerning, yes.
concerning. Yes, that yes, they can make fun of me on social media, but if I throw a printer at them, not really. They don't know how to get out of it because they'll never know how to use it.
Right.
And I understand in this conversation the sphere of influence, so to speak, is social media. One simple thing that can happen is the government can genuinely, and again, I use the word government with a lot of, I guess, sardonic approach, with sarcasm. My personal views aside, the government can come into the play and
Yes.
actually talk about positive mental health attitudes. Can talk, or look at, because they are already very at the forefront of looking at, oh, how do we curb content online, positive or negative.
Yeah.
At that point, you can create, and there is no shortage of researchers, there is no shortage of psychology interns, there is no shortage of people who are pro mental health.
Hmm.
Not in a way where they are trained in psychology or psychiatry, but they know that, hey, a good mental health, or a person with good mental health, is a sign of a good human being,
Yes.
or a societable human being, whatever that may be.
Yes.
And that's a good thing. At that point, the state can bring in multiple perspectives from these people, and actually create a docket, a series of information, a ticker that goes to all social media that says this, or this information can be too triggering, or this information is too sensitive for a certain kind of viewers. Be careful before watching it, or hey, this piece of information is slightly skewed, it's not real. Do not react in a very extreme manner.
Hmm.
That is the state's job to a certain degree, because influencers can only influence who they have already influenced. They need to grow out of their bubble to expand their audiences by saying things that other people would want to hear.
Right.
Right? Again, a cognitive bubble that they would like to live in.
Yeah.
But before, influencers just ruin therapy speak by using words toxic, normalization, all of that. It's a big problem, at least in my
That's
view.
another podcast all by itself. Yeah.
Yeah, it
But
can
I hear
possibly
you.
be. Yeah, and those terms, what they have been using, great, they have normalized a certain kind of talk about mental health, that hey, my child, my friend, my neighbor can go through something like this, and it is not immediately that, oh, they're just having, I don't know, food poisoning, something that sort. Like, oh, no, no, it's a genuine issue that they can look into. But because of really stressing on those words without looking at the nuances that it comes with,
Yep.
they're ruining it.
Yes.
So at this point, media, because it's a blank canvas, it comes to us, because just because we are media consumers does not mean that we are not content generators, not creators themselves. Because remember, Facebook, Instagram, they're all free because we are the product. So if we are already the product, might as well utilize that space and talk about mental health in the most informative, non-hostile way possible.
Right.
And through there, a conversation can start. The virality aspect of social media can take over, and that can also be helpful. Media, what it can do is also for if Mark Zuckerberg or Elon or anybody else who runs a big media mogul company even thinks of being human for 2 seconds and pardon my attack, it's if they can do that without thinking that my algorithm needs to feed extreme reactions, if they bloody well change the algorithm,
Yes.
then that also helps. That helps a lot. Facebook thrives on the fact that you are reacting to something that is triggering. It's oh look, a cute old puppy got beaten up by a strange man, and a lot of people who love animals will get fed these particular videos. They get angry, react to it, share it, and then it becomes viral. Same thing on Instagram. The
Yes.
fact that we are in this technological casino where you don't know where the wall clock is, because once you get in you don't have to come out, like a mall back in the day, in the early 90s and 2000s, where we had
I
malls.
like the word casino. That's
Yeah,
exactly what it does.
yeah, exactly. And when you get in and you don't know how to come out of it, you
You don't
also.
have a reason to come out of it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because you have likes, you have engagement, you have
Yes,
certain
yes.
rewards that
Yeah,
immediately come to
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Those media algorithms need to realize that they are the ones who are contributing to this problem. And then at the same time, if you say, oh, today is World Mental Health Day, or whatever, it's a very superficial tact, and unfortunate that you're just doing lip service. It's not actually anything. And I would like to also tell people who are the consumers, because without consumers, content is not going to go anywhere.
True.
Is try to look at your time that you spend on social media as a physical space. I guess, okay, fine. Do it this way. Like, imagine you are in a vehicle inside a car or whatever, and every scroll that you make is either moving forward or moving backward, or just moving forward. So, if you, let's say, if you scroll a reel, you move, let's say, 100 meters. So, in 2 hours, how many reels would you go? And then in that physical space, how far would you go
Like
away
and
from.
Ryan.
Yeah, how far would you go away from your own space?
Right.
You would realize, oh, in this physical space, I am going really, really far away. I'm wasting a lot of time, because if I could travel that much of distance in just scrolling through reels, that means I need to stop. I need to check my inventory and, like, maybe take a while, take a break, and then come back to it later. Or use that physical space as an elevator and say that, oh, I have traveled the distance of the Burj Khalifa just going through content. Every time I scroll a reel, I just go down and down and down, and I've traveled the entire length of Burj Khalifa, which means that, oh, that's a lot of content. So if we kind of really relook at those spaces, kind of tell people that from a visual point, this is the amount of information that you're consuming, good or bad or otherwise, you need to maybe stop for a while. So that. But yeah, it's after a certain point, this is not going to be enough. I'm afraid it's like putting statutory warning on a cigarette pack, right? People who are already addicted look at it, they take a deep breath and still smoke. uh, Unfortunate as it is, the same thing will happen. So before it is too late, certain practices need to be implemented from the social media companies
Right.
and from the
Right.
people themselves.
Right. Very well, Sumit. Since you're also a lecturer, not just a media background person, because I know you've made some movies, can you tell me something about the filmmaking that you've done?
Oh, Um, so I, before being a teacher, I was working in an ad agency as a copywriter and a content producer.
Wow.
The same kind of content that we kind of find online to kind of make it engaging, to sell them stuff. And after working there and trying my best, and also getting a lot of happiness out of it, because it was trying to meet my creative need of, oh, this is great. I also realized that it was a pit that you can't come out of, and it is also very exhausting.
Right.
I decided that teaching is something that I also really like doing,
Mhm.
and I will try to explore that and see if I can actually make a difference. But before all of that, working, I used to, I still do actually, with my teacher and my mentor.
Mhm.
His name is Deepu, and we used to work together. I used to work under him in a place called Pedestrian Pictures,
Mhm.
and we dealt with a lot of political conversations across the country, in the state.
Okay.
I specifically made movies, documentary films
Mhm.
on political issues. I worked with a lot of other filmmakers um, um, who come from various walks of life.
Mhm.
Most recently, um, with the, I don't know if you want to include this part, with the Shaheen Bagh riots and the CA, NRC, and all of that. So I used to work with them as well,
Okay.
and it has been quite a prolific journey.
Mhm.
But now I'm sort of trying to find a balance with working on current political stuff that actually can change from policy level to everything else, to what I can teach students. So it's
Interesting.
sort of
So,
like
do you
that.
have students who come to you and say, I want to be a filmmaker? And they have these, the
Oh yeah.
blue eyed dreams that they
Oh
carry.
yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
then, do you have kids who come up to you and say, one day I want to be a superstar? I want to be an actor. Have you had those kind of scenarios? Because you
I've
see, when these people, the successful people, when they come and they're on an interview, then you hear them say, nobody believed in me. And then, everybody made fun of me. And today, here I am, kind of
I
stories.
believe in you. Whoever wants to be an actor, they can do so. Please, nobody is stopping you. But no, in all honesty, I've had legitimately already working actors
Hmm.
from the film industry coming and finishing their course and everything else. So the process of why I want to be an actor has already been circumvented. They already are.
Okay.
And yes, there are lots of students who have come to me, or at least just passingly spoke about their passion for filmmaking or various aspects of it.
Hmm.
They're quite. Some of them are very serious about it. Some of them are very excited about the idea. I know a student who has recently graduated. She is very intense when it comes to writing every single note down whenever you're talking about films, because she's so passionate about it. Unfortunately, her parents are also looking at, no, you finish your MBA and all of that. Film is a different thing. It's not safe financially speaking. And, you understand where they're coming from, but you
Yes.
also see that she really loves doing that. And yeah, there are a lot of people who have come here, and they
So, if
also,
I may play the devil's advocate, if she comes to you for advice,
yes,
and her mental health is at stake, what
yeah,
would you tell her? Chase your dream or find yourself a stable career. How would you, turn around that conversation for her?
I will. I will quote a line that I remember from, I keep forgetting, was it Descartes or somebody else? Is that do or don't, regret both. So
Wow.
I'm just going to tell them that
Right.
if you are going to regret your life, like, oh, I should have done that, I should have done that. And I think that's a very human tendency to kind of look back and say
Yes.
that I want to, I should have, I would have. If might as well, if you're going to regret everything, might as well do something that will make you happy and then regret it later. But at
Right.
least you're there. And no matter what I tell them, at the end of the day, they have to realize that they are the ones who are walking through it. And yeah, I guess that has helped so far. Fingers crossed. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If students are coming to me looking for mental health advice and they're trying to figure out what should I choose or what should I do,
Hmm.
I guess I will just listen to them as long as possible,
Hmm.
because most often than not, it turns out that they just want a vent. They just want an outlet. Like, I
Right.
just want to talk about it because nobody is willing to listen.
Yes.
Or they're either already throwing solutions at me. And then if I look at them long enough, like, oh, can you help me with something? Then I will tell them. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Interesting. Very beautiful. If you enjoyed our video, I'm sure you did because I certainly did. I'm sure by now you would have realized that, your college and whatever knowledge you gain is not limited to your campus. You can get in touch with people on videos like this. And if you really like the content today, please do subscribe. And then if you have any comments, any questions, or some love, please put in your comments out there. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, Sumit.
Thank you so much for having me. This was wonderful. Thank you.
Likewise.